I wish I could take solace in my unique individual distaste for the state of the world today, but that's not a luxury any one man can enjoy anymore. It is a condition and a gift that many of us now all share. There's a bitterness, and I talk about it. There's a genuine bitterness out there, and it comes from so many things, so many stupid arguments. I was just ruminating as I drink alone in my room about the state of potential matrimony and love and child rearing in my own future. And I just thought about how politicized, I'm on Hinge, kind of just looking at the looking at my options for love. And, every profile is like, no Trumpers, no this, better be in therapy. All these hard line dictions, decrees of what they estimate love to be. And I just thought, like, there was a time where, like, you would have no idea what your partner or someone you were attracted to's political leanings were, potentially for your entire life. There was a time where you must have just sat across from somebody and just took pleasure in their scent and the way they spoke, the way they laughed, their body language, the way they would recoil in glee as you said something funny, the way their hands would come together as if just receiving a present when you said something witty. These are the things that make you attracted to somebody, not whether or not they believe in a woman's right to choose, which I am not belittling and I support, of course. But it's almost like, what guys are on these platforms being like, hey bitch, there ain't no way you get to choose. So it's my way or the highway when you're dating AJ Braddock. That's what this guy would be. That's what his name would be, and that's how he would speak. My name's AJ Braddock, and I hate women. They don't get to have abortions. Everything Trump says is the truth. And shit. Fuck black people, and I'm a racist. So come on, baby, let's find love. Like, is this what men are? Is this, hey, contemporaries, is this what your profiles are saying? I hope not. So anyway, I'm just thinking about this bitterness that has been engendered. And this has been going on for years. This has been a slow boil in the heart of darkness in humanity. But it's reached a boiling point, or not even a boiling point. It's the pot's falling off the stove. I was at Starbucks earlier, where I'm at in upstate New York, and I go to this Starbucks, and it looks like a fucking labor camp. And I know Starbucks, there's all this shit in the news, it's horrible to work for, but like, these are young people in their 20s. Like, it's a shitty job. It's supposed to be shitty. I remember working at Best Buy in college. It was fucking annoying, but my coworkers made it hilarious. That's how you got through. You busted balls with your coworkers. And that, or maybe they're not allowed to bust balls. Maybe you're not even allowed to say balls because not everyone has balls because they're non-binary at Starbucks. But point being, so I've been going to this Starbucks, and in the past like 5 or 6 years, it's just become a depressing husk of the place it used to be. I went there about 10 years ago when I was living at my grandmother's home, my family's home, when I was in a self-directed, self-imposed exile, reading all the Penguin classics of the ancient Stoic philosophers in a bid to enrich myself. Also reading the likes of Baltasar Castiglione, the Book of the Courtier, which was a 15th century guide on how to conduct oneself properly in a royal court. That's why I didn't get fucking laid for a very long time. Okay, people, this is Dennis Miller. Okay, I went into a self-imposed exile, trying to immersion myself, trying to pretend that I was some sort of intellectual beatnik on the road, Jack Kerouac, hanging out with the likes of Bob Dylan and Altamont. Okay. That's Dennis Miller. Anyhow, 10 years ago, this place was really friendly and warm, and like I remember the smiles of the workers, and look, I'm sure they didn't love their job, but they realized it was a means to an end, and there was something to strive for. There was something that on the other end of this shift was going to bring them some joy. And I'm not saying this is like to bolster capitalism's virtues. I'm just saying, like, that's how life seemed to be. You used to have something to look forward to. There used to be something to look forward to, culturally, existentially. And now that does not seem to be the case. All that said, I went in today and I saw the manager from 10 years ago, or the girl who used to work there 10 years ago, and she was an entirely different person than these other workers who are there now, who are largely despondent, dejected, 21 to 25-year-olds who probably go to Vassar or some shit. But this woman that I saw, she's like a local Hudson Valley kind of like olive-skinned, vaguely Italian, Puerto Rican, white girl, but just like smiling. And like clearly like, you know, Starbucks isn't her favorite thing in the fucking world, I'm sure. But she didn't bring a shit attitude to the job. So I don't know. It was just like every once in a while I come across these people who are not fucking utterly bitter, but many of the faces I see in my travels, whether it be in LA where I just was, or maybe Wisconsin, to a lesser degree there. That's a different world altogether. But being back in New York, it's just sad sacks of shit. And again, I know the world's really rough and tough right now, but like, man, like, is it a choice? Like, is it a choice to be so fucking like, that's like everyone's vibe, and it's such a drag, man. And then I take it to the Call of Duty. I play a lot of Call of Duty with my internet gaming friends. And there's two lobbies, you know. There's the other team, and sometimes they're like, hey, GG, man, good game. Or like, ah, damn, you got me, man. Yeah, cool. And other times, it is the most vicious, brutal, like, not even like, because it's not like, oh, I'm genuinely offended, but you just see the ugliness of those people's lives, and they're like, hey, bitch, like, fuck you, dumb bitch, like, you lost that round, faggot, like, and they mean it, and it's like coming from a place of like, I'm like, you know, I'm an old man in this game now, I'm 36, I'm like, hey man, we just playing a game, like, it's all good, like, good, like, GG. So that split of like bitter ugliness and like people who are, I don't know, I'm very fascinated by this dichotomy of people who are ready to fucking destroy the world and those who are still trying to like not be crushed by it. And maybe that's the way it's always been. Maybe I'm just describing the human condition, but it seems amplified in recent years, and I see more scowls and furrowed brows than I do sort of soft faces that are like, hello stranger, let us speak. And that's been my life for a decade. My entire life has been talking to strangers, and I love strangers. But now there's this energy out there that's been dictated by fucking the media and our presidents, both presidents, all politicians, whose job and their moneymaker is to divide us. That's what they do. Whether it's Trump or Biden, and not even Biden. He's just a husk. But it's just like, no, I spilled my beer. I don't know. I want people to feel better. I want people to, you know, it's not just like be blindly optimistic, because that's retarded. Yes, I say the word retarded. I say the R word. It's just like, I don't know. It bummed me out. I played a bunch of Call of Duty rounds today, and like a lot of the lobbies were just like mean, and like they're young dudes, you know. And that's what was more depressing. That it was like young guys who, I guess, you know, that's how I must have been. I was a piece of shit. I was angry, full of piss and vinegar. But it like, okay, who gives a fuck? It's a video game. But I'm talking about, that doesn't stop in that game. You know what I mean? Like, when that person leaves the video game and goes into their real world, do they then go to Starbucks and scowl at me when I'm trying to order an espresso over ice? You know, I'm trying to find the root cause. And with this fucking shooting in Nashville, okay, let's go there. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, I guarantee. That's a personal guarantee. I guarantee it. That's Blue Magic. I'm Denzel Washington, and I guarantee it. You know, it's, again, back to these dichotomies, these dualities, these binaries. Our fucking world is always like this 0-1 equation. So it's like, is it mental health or is it gun control? Probably a little bit of both. I understand people's position on both sides, but I am more interested in understanding a world where a person is okay with, or what a person's final conclusion they make is, I shall purchase firearms and kill. Okay? And then people who are sort of, anti-gun or pro-gun control, more gun control, they just want to get rid of the guns, which, okay, I understand that argument. I understand that train of thought. But it kind of just stops there, and it seems to imply that they're okay living in a world where people feel the desire to want to purchase a firearm and kill people, so long as they just can't act on it. And I get why that's an acceptable outcome, but it concerns me. I'm more concerned with that world where it's like, oh yeah, I'm happy to live around homicidal maniacs as long as they can't act on it. And that's a solution, for sure. I get that, but it's eerie to me. Where is this coming from? Where is this diabolical loneliness, this diabolical alienation, where you have no one in your life that's like, hey, you don't look too good. You haven't spoken much. I haven't seen you. What have you been doing? That we have enough of those people for them. Because I guarantee none of these fucking shooters had actual friends. Very few of these shooters had someone with whom, they've cried into the arms of, or have revealed their deep, utmost, concerns to. And I think, and I'm all about, I prefer going after root problems. I like causes. I don't embrace problems. I embrace solutions. John Taffer, Bar Rescue. And these are all the same things. And I'm trying to needle this tapestry. What do you do? Paint a tapestry? Sew a tapestry? What do you do with a fucking make a tapestry? I'm trying to pull out to as macro and broad as a level I can to understand why, as I started this episode with, people have such a distaste for the world around them, And, no shit. I get it. It's like, pick your poison. It's, injustice, police brutality, pandemic, economy. But to what degree are those real in your own life? Your own life. I'm not saying, like, oh, the economy's fine or police aren't racist. I'm saying in your own life, because we all have to start there, in ourselves and in yourself. And work backwards from there, instead of immediately jumping out to this, island far off from where you are, and being like, well, this is what I'm concerned with. And it's just like, yeah, okay, but like, did you handle any of the other shit inside yourself? No. I'm focused on illegal immigration. Okay, but where do you live? New York City. What is that border? You get my point. I got mad at the conversation I was having. Like, the imaginary person I was imagining, I was starting to get pissed off at and didn't want to talk anymore. I spent a lot of time alone. Okay. Well, Daddy's getting there. Taking a little break. I'm work. I got some really hot projects in the works, so things are coming around. And overall, things are getting better. Shit, man. I hate talking about my actual problems. Like, I haven't been able to, like, swallow, like, food well for the past, like, 2 years from, like, a number of reasons. Like, my tight neck muscles and stress and anxiety. It's been a whole thing. They had to dilate my esophagus because it was narrowed from what I think it's heartburn, but it's something called EOE, like esophageal. It's like an allergy in your esophagus that, like, narrows it. And obviously makes it harder to swallow food. So, like, I lost like 20 pounds and shit. But I'm getting there, and I've been hammering protein shakes and getting better at eating food. All that to say, I've been tackling a lot of the issues that have been plaguing me, and I think I'll never listen to any. I don't listen to the old episodes. Once these things are recorded, they're for you guys to make your assessments of me. And I hope maybe one day someone can be like, Duval, you've made a lot of progress because you were a much shittier person or in a much shittier place. 2 or 3 years ago when you started this madness. So anywho, yeah, people be sad is my conclusion. But there are still those who are not, or at least acknowledge the sadness in the world and are able to sort of embrace it and wear it rather than, and not deny it, not pretend it's not there, because that's not realistic. But they're like, yeah, life sucks. What else? I mean, my father was in prison for 30 fucking years, and he's trying to get a new job or whatever. And, we were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I'm optimistic, it sounds good. And I'm like, yeah, if not, keep punching. I quoted Rocky to my father. He goes, that's all we do. He's like, that's what we do, So if my father can rot in prison for 30 fucking years and then come out and be like, all right, game time, let's get back to it. Like, we all can, or anybody can, or most of us can. So I say that to you, but then I even have to say that to myself as well. Fuck! My advice applies to myself. I don't like that. So yeah, it was a depressing experience at Starbucks, but then a more positive one. Anywho, love life is, put that on pause. Just gonna focus on me, and I really am turning a corner. I think. I think things are moving and are not as fast as I'd like, but every time you stop and face a problem, something improves in your soul. The more you try to run from it, the more you try to pretend it's not there, the more you try not to give words to it, the worse it becomes, man. That's a bummer, dude. It's a bummer. And yeah, I see a violent, lonely world out there, and I want to help it, but I also want to make clear boundaries between myself and it. For those people who are like not gonna play ball or are committed to being wretched, I can't help that. But if someone looks in themselves and say, "Man, like I need a hand, I need a help," that's who I want to be available for. And that's the kind of man I want to be. I want to be the guy who sees that I see hurt. Man, I look into someone's eyes, and I know people who've been through dark shit. Those are my people. Those are the people I love. Those are the people I connect with. There's that slightly tired, collapsing arch of the eyes that doesn't look despondent per se, but there's a heaviness to them, framed by usually a very pretty face or an expressive face or a buoyant personality in some regard or an infectious personality. But I always know the people who've been through some shit when I look into their eyes, usually. And then like the happy bubbly people are the ones I tend to hate because they're just like, like they eat sandwiches and like they take a bite, then look at the sandwich. I don't know why I hate that so much. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Motherfuckers who be like biting a sandwich, bang, what the heck? Bologna and ham and cheese. Let me take a bite. Now look at the sandwich. Wow, look at that. That's what it would. So stupid. Or maybe it's slower. It's more like a dum 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 dum. I don't know what is happening. I'm not that drunk. I'm just kind of delirious. Or maybe I'm just having a good time. Maybe I'm just having a good time. All right. Well, try not to be mean. Also, like, I love talking to strangers, and like there's that I'm always like talking. There's a tone, there's a vibration that happens when I'm talking to people, and we're just kind of on that good conversational frequency vibe. And other people like look up because it's like almost out of the ordinary. They're like looking at you like it's almost like a crime scene in a way when they see you like having banter with someone, and it's like there used to be more of that too. There used to be more strangers like bullshitting. You know what I mean? People used to bullshit with each other more. being like, man, yeah, I'm trying, it's like the Jets, yeah. I mean, just there's that, kind of dad bullshitting. But I just recall there being like raised voices. Last time I was in the city, it just felt like fucking post-war Germany and shit. It just felt like we were under curfew. I know, and I get it. Do people not accept that we're still acting like COVID is going on? I know there's some of you out there like, oh, the pandemic's still going on. Fine, but I'm done, and so is most of this country, and I don't give a fuck, and I won't give a fuck. And we shouldn't give a fuck because disease is a part of life. All that said, we need like a deprogramming process. Like for as extra as the government was stepping in, this is when the shit gets left. It goes a little. This is when the show gets a little conspiratorial. But as quickly as the government stepped in to, regulate our lives to quote unquote protect us from COVID-19, they need to do like a debriefing process for us to be like, hey, okay, you should probably just shake a stranger's hand because it's preposterous to not do that anymore because we realize that none of the science backs up the idea that you shouldn't do that. Like they need to unfuck all that they fucked, and they did do some fucking, People still kind of like side-eyeing each other when they cough and, standing apart. Man. Is it ever going to go back to normal? No, probably not. And then everything's going to be automated and everyone's happy to have it automated because it means less risk and everyone's risk averse now. They just want to get married and have kids and have self-driving cars and have no one raise their voice and have comedy only say what they want, and we'll have Chinese comedy night, and we'll have gay comedy night, we'll have black comedy night, and no one will be offended, and we'll all go home and eat our baby food out of a tube, and life will go on, and there'll be no risks, and there's no chance for your dreams to happen because dreams mean danger, and danger is not legal. So we can't have that, citizen. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.